Hey guys, it's Lauren here from The Financial Diet, and today I'm going to be talking about some things that hiring managers don't want to see on your resume. Now, I myself am obviously not a hiring manager, I'm just a simple graphic designer, but it just goes to show you that anyone can really teach themselves how to make their resume stronger if they just read up on it and kind of teach themselves the best practices. In preparation for this video, I reached out to a few recruiters and hiring managers to kind of pick their brains for their best tips. I also follow a few really great HR blogs, which I'll link to in the description below, which offer tips on everything from like resume writing to interviewing to searching for a job. So your resume and job application is going to be the first thing that gets your foot into the door and into the interview stage of a job hunt. So it's essential that it's as perfect as humanly possible. But of course, no one is perfect and we all need a little extra help. So let's jump right into some things that hiring managers don't want to see. So the first thing would be using vague time periods for jobs. Suzanne Lucas, who runs the really awesome blog Evil HR Lady, explains that one of her biggest pet peeves when looking at resumes is seen when people just put the years next to a job that they had. She explains that vague dates might be a red flag to employers that you're trying to hide something. So be as specific as possible. Make sure you have clear explanations for everything on your resume before going into a job interview and anything that an employer might draw your attention to or need you to explain in further detail. You want to be able to give clear answers to tough questions. The second thing is using stale or trite buzzwords. Is there anything sadder than a resume that reads as if it's been lifted straight up from like Google Images? Most likely, there's going to be a human reading this thing, so you want to make sure that the language you're using is colorful, dynamic, and engaging and will really hold their attention. If you're using flat buzzword phrases like go-getter, team player, detail-oriented, synergy, you can pretty much guarantee that the person reading your resume is going to lose interest really quickly, and it's going to come across as if you were just being lazy and not really imaginative. To combat this, pass your resume around to a few friends so that it has an extra set of eyes on it, or give it to an industry peer to review. The more you do this, the better your resume will typically be. Another thing is not following basic directions. This is, unfortunately, something that we noticed here at TFD with our own intern applications. People just couldn't follow simple directions. Make sure that you're paying attention to the details of the job posting. Everything from what email subject line you should use, how long your cover letter should be, how long your resume should be, things like that. You want to start off on the best foot possible and show your potential employer that you can execute a simple task. Another one is having poor spelling or grammar. Sandra Long from the website Blogging for Jobs calls bad spelling and grammar a landmine for resumes, which is like my favorite way to describe it. Having bad grammar or misspelled words on a resume is pretty much a guarantee that that thing is going to go straight into the trash. I myself have desperately wished for the unsend button on emails, which is unfortunately not there. There's been more than one occasion where I've literally sent something off, given it one final proofread afterwards for what reason I don't know, and then I inevitably find a spelling mistake and I just proceed to like light my computer on fire. So proofread, proofread, proofread. This is a non-negotiable. This thing has to be solid. Another thing is not having relevant job experience. Now this seems obvious, but I've talked to a lot of people who've applied for jobs that they weren't necessarily qualified for, and they just think like, I'll give it a go. However, a lack of experience is going to be something that's pretty obvious to hiring managers and recruiters. From their perspective, their top priority is finding candidates with relevant job experience and professional abilities related to the job at hand. And they'll see through someone's attempt to try and cover that up. However, it's totally possible to get an entry-level job without having relevant experience, because how else would you have relevant experience? But you need to be really good at communicating your marketable skills. Make it clear what you can bring to the table if you're lacking in the experience department. Another problem area is using subjective language. Now this is a tricky one and it does take some practice. Once you notice that you're writing job descriptions on your resume that sound like they're based more in opinions rather than facts, it's really hard to unsee that. It's really easy to then change the language that you're using on your resume to make it sound more strong and more powerful. My first attempts at resume writing were tragic, and I had like chunks of prose on it that talked about how I offered creative solutions to a lot of pitches that were successful and my boss loved. Like that provides absolutely no concrete detail that is going to be useful for anyone looking at your resume. Instead, you want to use active language that provides hard numbers that quantifies what you did and how you did it. For example, you can say that in the last month I worked on 3 different creative pitches where I designed 4 options to help address the client needs. By giving facts, this will help quantify what you've done and let an employer know the scope of your work. When your resume comes across as opinion-based, it's going to come off as a lot less professional. Before you apply to any job, make sure that you're taking a hard look at your resume and tailoring it to the job at hand while still being truthful. I'll put some links in the description to help you read up on the do's and don'ts of resume writing from the experts themselves. You want to take control of your career the same way that you take control of your personal finances, which for me go hand in hand. Having a resume that hiring managers are impressed by will be the first step in doing that. So as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and go to thefinancialdiet.com for more. Bye!